Hello and welcome to Get Healthy with Holly. I'm Holly Covo from Fitting Fitness In, personal trainer and nutrition specialist. And today I have Annie Cronin from Annie's Gluten-Free Bakery. Hi Annie.
Hello.
Thanks for being on my show.
Sure.
And let me tell you a little bit about Annie. After years spent on as a newspaper publisher, graphic designer, and marketing professional, she decided to pursue her passion, gluten-free baking. So inspired by an article that she read in Edible Boston, the magazine, she quit her job, went to culinary school at Boston University, and started a new business. Very daring. Annie has always loved cooking and entertaining friends and family, and in 2009 she started baking in her home and selling at farmers markets. That evolved into a wholesale business that she runs now, and Annie will tell you that she has a wonderful, dedicated gluten-free commercial kitchen in an old mill building in Shirley, Mass. And Annie's products are sold in a variety of stores and restaurants in the area, which we'll go into later, but you can find her products and information on her Facebook page, Annie's Gluten-Free Bakery. So Annie.
Yes?
Tell me a little bit about how, I'm assuming that since you're doing all gluten-free bakery, that you may have the celiac disease.
I do.
That causes the whole reason for this gluten-free bakery.
Yes.
So when did you discover that you had that?
About 22 years ago.
Wow.
And there was nothing. There was nothing on the market. There was a rice bread that was awful. Mm-hmm. There was no pasta. There was no treats. So this was self-preservation, starting this business. I had been working on it for a long time and came up with what I think are really good recipes.
Well, I know that they are great. My kids love them, even though we don't have celiac disease, but we eat your gluten-free goodies. So I know nowadays there's a lot more for gluten-free, and everybody's doing gluten-free. So how difficult was it to cut out gluten from your diet?
It took a while to figure out everything that gluten was in. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the organizations that they do now, or even the knowledge of what exactly you could and couldn't eat. I didn't know. I ate soy sauce for a few years. Had no idea the second ingredient was wheat.
Really?
Yeah, the
Wow.
second ingredient. There are brands that are gluten-free, so that's good. I can't drink beer. I didn't eat bread for years. Mm-hmm. So even now that I make a really good bread, I don't eat much bread.
Well, I was going to say, how do you stay so thin working in a bakery, baking all those goodies?
Because I can just taste little tastes, yes.
And exercise, of course, right?
Of course. Enough exercise in the kitchen that I don't need to go out anywhere. I walk 10,000 steps in
And that's
kitchen.
a big kitchen, too, now.
It's a big kitchen, yeah.
It's an awesome kitchen. So do you need to take extra vitamins or supplements to make up for some of the things that you're not getting?
I take vitamin D just for calcium. Mm-hmm. That sometimes can be a problem, is calcium absorption.
Yeah.
But I take vitamins, but I think I have a really good, healthy diet. For years, I just shopped on the outside of the supermarket.
That's what I teach all my clients, because on the outside is the
fresh foods.
Yeah. Everything, yeah.
Because it would take me a really long time to shop if I was reading every single label.
Right.
But now the grocery stores, they have gluten-free sections. Some places have it integrated, but I can get everything. I can get great pasta. I can get wonderful crackers. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
much different than it had been.
So the culinary program that you did at BU, was that specific to baking, or was it specific to gluten-free?
It's the Culinary Arts Certificate Program. It's a 12-week intensive. It's every day, and it's from 9 until 5, or longer if we had presentations or events. And they were very accommodating. They knew I was gluten-free, so when somebody came to teach us how to bake bread, they came up with a recipe for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I couldn't taste some of the stuff we made because it had gluten in it.
Right.
But very accommodating. And it was baking, it was the science of it, it was the business of it, it was cooking, and it was mostly chefs from the Boston area who were teaching us. We had a different teacher every day.
Awesome.
Including Jacques Pepin.
Really?
For a week. He started the program.
Wow.
Yes, that was wonderful.
That's something I would love to do.
Yeah.
I love cooking, obviously, but baking, I don't do the baking in our house. Jessica does the baking,
She
my
does
daughter.
the baking in my place, too.
I know, right? Jessica works at Annie's Gluten-Free Bakery, my youngest. So, so your business was homegrown. Was it scary moving from the home into the kitchen, into a commercial kitchen?
Not at all. It was a relief. It was a relief. I was baking every single day, and then running to the farmers markets, and then coming home to a disaster and having to clean it from top to bottom.
Yep.
And I never went home from work.
That's right. It's always at your house.
I just didn't like that. And I met Deborah O'Kelly at farmers markets. She is Golden Girl Granola. And the two of us were looking to get out of really inadequate kitchens. So we looked for 2 years, and we found a kitchen that was mostly there at Phoenix Park in Shirley. And I mean, we had to buy a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
But it was just, I like getting up and going to work.
Yeah.
So that was great.
And then you can leave it and come back.
I could leave it and come back. I had more room. I had more room for expansion.
Which you have already expanded.
Yes, we had originally about 2,400 square feet. We have about 4,700 square feet now of kitchen space. Wow. And I keep thinking we need more.
Oh my goodness.
So
where's the farthest, how far do you ship your products to?
I'd say the furthest right now, we bake focaccia for Burton's Grill, and they send it to they have 2 restaurants in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's the furthest right now, I think.
Now, I know you can freeze things, because I know Jessica would bring stuff home. Like, we still have some nice chocolate cake, flourless chocolate cake in our freezer. And so how long can you pretty much freeze this?
Most of our stuff right now to a distributor is sold frozen because they bring it to restaurants. And we give it about a 6-month freezer life. It goes so quickly, I don't.
I know. We better be eating that chocolate cake pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to bake for us today?
Today I am going to bake a lemon poppy seed tea cake. And I'm actually going to bake 4 of them. This is a recipe so you can make 4 small ones in 3x5 pans.
Cute.
And that way you can have one for now and you can freeze some later.
Awesome. And the guys helping out today will love to eat
Absolutely,
some of it because they love sampling the food that we make.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what we're doing.
Okay, so first off, I just want to talk a little bit about the flour. We use a flour mix that we've come up with, but for this recipe, you can pretty much use any gluten-free all-purpose flour mix. I think even Pillsbury has some, Bob's Red Mill has some good ones, Authentic Foods has good ones, there's something called Cup for Cup, and those are all good. The only thing I want to caution you is that if it already has xanthan gum, you don't use the xanthan gum in this. And what we always do is we take the ingredients, all the dry ingredients, and mix them up, and then some of the wet ingredients and mix those up, and then you add one to the other. And it's not, you don't overdo it or So anyhow, we've got in here 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We need, oh, I have to take these out. Here we go.
Take those out of the way.
Thank you.
So you can just point and say what it is so we can get a good idea of all of these different ones.
This is 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Put that in. We have 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. And if you don't know what the xanthan gum is, it's what adds the elasticity that gluten-free flours don't have.
Oh.
So that's why you add it. Half teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of poppy seeds, and the grated lemon rind, 2 tablespoons, goes directly into.
So is grated different than zesting?
Same thing.
Okay, because I remember Jess came home one day and said, we need a zester.
Oh, I know.
So off to Kitchen Outfitters we go, because that's where we get everything.
Right.
And came home with a zester, and she said, when I move out, this is going with me. I said, yeah.
You know, I got to tell you something. You need to.
Don't forget that.
I know. You need to replace those. Very hard to sharpen them, and they do get dull.
You don't want to get your fingers.
What we want to
caught
do
on them.
is mix this all up, and this sort of gets the lemon zest and the poppy seeds all mixed in with it evenly. And for every single thing we do, we get these dry ingredients all mixed up together before we put it in
Well,
anything.
that's a good point.
Okay, and so we're going to put this aside for a second. We're going to take sugar, which is 1 cup of granulated sugar. Put that in the mixer. We're going to add half a cup, of granola oil. This is going to be
oil?
Canola.
Oh, canola.
Canola
Like vanilla
oil. No. Yes. The recipe is going to be available to them, right?
Yes, it's going to be, the recipe will be up on my website.
Okay. So that was.
As will a link to Annie's information.
Okay, so that was 1/3 cup. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. Half a cup of canola oil. It's 3 eggs.
Yep.
And
Half a teaspoon.
half a teaspoon of lemon extract.
Now that's interesting because, you know, since Jess started baking, getting very adventurous after working with you, we have like 10 different extracts.
Oh,
at
yes.
home.
Well, I'll tell you something. The most common extract that people use right now, vanilla, is ridiculous. I was paying $75 a gallon last year. I'm paying $245.
Why is that?
Because the vanilla crop in Madagascar, a cyclone went through, destroyed it.
Wow.
I think that vanilla beans are grown on an orchid, and an orchid takes 2 years to mature.
Really?
So all of us bakers are having to
Adjust.
absorb this
Wow,
cost.
that's huge.
We keep getting told it's going to come down, but I don't know. So anyhow, you want to combine these in the bowl of an electric mixer.
Without the milk.
Without the milk.
Okay.
You want that to get absorbed. It takes everything all mixed together. It takes about a minute.
We love our KitchenAid.
This is nice. Yes. My mixer at the kitchen is about that big. It's about as tall as us. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to add the flour,
Poppy seed with the lemon.
the dry mix.
Yep. So one of the things, I was doing a little research when for the show, and it said that most likely 1 in 10 people, if you have celiac disease, that probably 1 in 10 in your family has it as well.
Yes, I discovered that I had celiac disease because I took care of my niece who was diagnosed with it when she was 18 months old.
Wow.
I took care of her for a week, and at the end of the week, I had migraine headaches for years and years and years. At the end of the week, I did not have a migraine.
So you ate what she ate?
I just cooked for her.
Yep.
And I didn't have a migraine. I didn't have stomach issues. I wasn't like trying to sleep until 10. It was a totally different ballgame.
Wow.
So yeah, it's nice not having a migraine every week.
Yeah, definitely.
I do. That was, like I said, it was 22 years ago. I am convinced that I've had it for a lot longer.
Probably.
I think I had it a lot longer. And supposedly it's 1% to 2% of the population,
Yeah.
and 90% of them don't know it.
So also in the research I heard, that I read that the later you are diagnosed in life, the more apt you are to have another autoimmune deficiency
Yeah.
or disease, like thyroid disease or anemia is a big one.
I have something called microscopic colitis, and 99% of the people who have microscopic colitis have celiac.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So I have a brother-in-law who has celiac disease, but he also can't do dairy.
very common. I don't think that a dairy intolerance is necessarily autoimmune, but I think it takes so long to diagnose
Right.
celiac that you just do damage.
Right.
And it just has trouble.
Right. So the problem with celiac is that the little villi in the small intestine get destroyed,
They get flattened.
flattened. So they're not pulling nutrients out of the food anymore. So you're not getting the nutrients, and then the whole digestive tract goes south.
My niece was, like I said, 18 months old. She had a distended belly, which the pediatrician kept saying, oh, that's just baby fat. She had orange hair, and she had these little stick arms and legs. They took her to Chicago Children's Hospital, diagnosed her within a month. No belly like that. Her arms filled in, and her hair turned blonde. I mean, it was just, she had malnutrition.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Oh my goodness.
So she is now 24, 25 years old, and she's lived with her whole life. Unlike a lot of people, I met somebody last night. She's only been diagnosed for 2 years. She's having a hard time with it.
Yeah.
But Erin doesn't know any different. So
It becomes, your way of eating becomes your lifestyle.
yes, yeah,
Just like eating healthy.
yes, definitely. This is done.
Looks good?
Yeah.
All right, let me clean some of this stuff out of the way so we can, just gonna move it over here.
So I should mention that we have preheated the oven to 350 degrees.
Right.
Okay, so like I said, these are the 3x5 baking pans. We have 4 of them. So we just want to spray these.
Is that essentially like a Pam?
This is 100% non-GMO canola spray. It's a commercial spray.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 100% canola spray at BJ's, or they have
really?
their store brands are usually 100% canola. Pam, I think, has soy in it, and I try to avoid.
okay.
I'm trying to avoid as many as I can. That's reasonable. Of the
Of any of the elements.
yes.
Yep.
So I'm going to just put that there. Now at the kitchen, we make these so big that
Want to put a little oomph into it?
yes, thank you. That we measure. Oh, I need the
Spatula.
yeah.
It's over there.
Oh, thank you.
Look at these little poppy seeds.
We do
They're
these
cute.
usually by weight. So we'll just take this and put it on a scale and we'll weigh it out. When I did that, these were all about 8.5 ounces a piece. But you don't have to do that. You can eyeball it.
Yeah, if you're just making it for home. Now, is this one of the products that you make in your bakery?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
No, but we might.
Yeah. What's the most popular product? I can tell you that my daughter loves the chocolate chip cookie peanut butter cookies.
Oh, you know what? We don't make those
Don't make them anymore?
They're
Okay.
awesome.
Well,
We
the
used-
flourless chocolate cake is awesome.
Yes, that is a big seller. We sell those to restaurants. We sell, we have a focaccia bread that if you ever go into Burton's or
Let's see, Burton's Grill.
Aviva Cucina, and you ask for either a sandwich or just tell them you're gluten-free, you're most likely going to get it on our focaccia bread. There's a lot of Burton's. We sell a lot of focaccia bread.
See a lot of that.
We also sell a lot of buttermilk dinner rolls, and those go to 110 Grill. Flourless chocolate cake.
That's at 110. I know
Yes.
Jess gets it when we're there.
Yes. So
I'm
lots
like,
of places.
Maybe you had made that.
Lots of places to get it. Well, surprisingly, we just got into the Bull Run for the first time, which is in Shirley.
Right.
So that
That's
was.
awesome. Do you need a spoon?
No, I'm going to use the spatula.
Talent. That's talent there. Is there a trick to that?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going to pretty much eyeball this as far as how much you should put in. I think it's probably about 3 scoops. And it gets pretty big.
Okay. We'll just set
And
that,
it smells so good. I
set that
love
here so they can see that.
I love lemon. I just
too.
love the smell. I think it's very soothing.
So one of the things that I saw in my research is that so many people are going gluten-free, even if they don't have celiac disease, which is not exactly the best thing because you are not getting the nutrients that you need and the protein from it, from the wheat. But they claim, oh, I feel great, I lost weight, but the reason why they did that is they've cut out breads, cakes, junk food, and they're eating more fruits and vegetables, and they're eating more healthy.
Right.
So that's why they feel better and they've lost weight. But no doctor recommends going gluten-free if you don't have the issues.
Well, and they also do have a new diagnosis, which is non-celiac gluten intolerance, where they are recommending that people go on a gluten-free diet because they may not be testing positive for celiac, but they very obviously can't digest it.
Oh, okay.
So,
5 minutes.
and if you are allergic to wheat, there's also certain autoimmune diseases that they recommend it. People with arthritis, with rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease, they recommend it, and I have heard from some of the people at the farmers markets that they really do feel better. So,
Great.
and that's it.
So we have some, we're going to put this in the oven, and then we have some that are already created, right?
We do.
Let me put this in and carry that over there.
And that's what it looks like.
Awesome.
It's nice and brown. I'm going to cut one. I need a knife.
How long does this go in for?
35 minutes.
Okay.
So when you make this, what you do, when it's done, you take it out, you cool it for 10 minutes. Definitely cool it for 10 minutes before you put it out on a cooling rack so that it has a chance to bind together and it might still be cooking a little bit. I have made the mistake of trying to pour out these things very quickly and they kind of fall apart.
Oh, okay. And we don't want to do that.
So, and we don't need that.
Some people, what is this? Sugar?
That's sugar. You can also, if you want to, you can sprinkle sugar on the top.
Yeah, we
I
can,
don't
we
think
could pass on that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. this is good and it's
tasty.
And tasty. Let me see if I can show some pieces here. These can be stored in the refrigerator, and I would store them in the refrigerator for probably 4 days wrapped in plastic wrap, and they can be up to 6 weeks in the freezer if you put plastic wrap and then wrap aluminum foil around that.
So plastic first and then aluminum foil.
So this is great. You're making 4 of these. You can have one today, and then you can keep the rest for
when you have guests.
The next 6 weeks.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, this has been very informational, and I love that it's a lemon because I love lemon.
Yes.
And poppy seeds, you don't see that so much anymore. A lot of people aren't using poppy seeds.
You know, it's funny. It's more a texture than a flavor.
So Annie, I just want to thank you again for being on the show, for educating us on how to bake gluten-free goodies, on how to handle having celiac disease and what you can do and what you shouldn't do.
Okay, I'm glad to be here. It was fun.
I appreciate that. And you can find her recipe on my website, fittingfitnessin.com, on the Get Healthy with Holly tab. It will have her recipe. We'll also have a list of where you can buy her products locally. And I'd like to thank you for watching Get Healthy with Holly. Just also want to let you know you can also purchase my book, Fitting Fitness In for Weight Loss and Healthy Living. There are some gluten-free recipes in here because there are some that are just fruits.
Oh, yeah.
So, but also stay tuned next month, and we're going to talk about a paleo diet on our Get Healthy with Holly.